I was thinking maybe watching this Adam and Sitch debate over if Donald Trump should be put in the slammer, should be put in prison, drawn and quartered for his crimes of classified documents, around classified documents, the Presidential Records Act, and not only taking the classified documents to his home into Mar-a-Lago, but then lying to the National Archives about having them when they request it, and then trying to hide it with lawyers as he shows it on tape to people who don't have classification to see it, while audibly saying, and we have audio of this, these are classified. I could have declassified it before when I was president, but I didn't. Anyway, here's my classified documents showing a planned invasion of Iran. So that is the case against Donald Trump. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty strong. Let's see what Adam and Sitch have to say. By the way, I might be going back on their program in the near future. I saw they got Anna Kasparian on recently. Show's not doing too bad.
Even when you're president, the rules are supposed to apply to everyone.
But you're lying to some paper pusher that's just fucking with you.
Who?
This is
not.
like,
Wait.
Stop. Is it
Stop.
morally
Stop.
reprehensible to
That's
lie to
not-
someone at
that's
the
bull-
DMV?
Wait. Number one, he's not supposed to have any documents. Period. Number
Right.
one.
I
Any
understand that. Yes.
Number two, he's 100% on top of that, not supposed to have any classified documents. So it's not like they're just fucking with him. That's not true. He's not supposed to have classified documents. They're not just fucking with him. You can't say that.
Well, you can't say that they're not.
Yes, I can. He's not by law. He's not allowed to have classified top secret documents. That's not them fucking with him.
If the situation, in all honesty, what was going on here was Trump wanted some souvenirs from the White House and he felt jilted and was like, I'm going to fuck with these people because they fucked with me. And it's just like I'm keeping the documents. These are my fucking souvenirs. And, they're just innocuous shit. It's his Greenland plan. 10 years for that? Please,
Well, okay,
get the fuck out of here.
Let me say two.
Okay, I just want to quickly say, Trump's not going to get 10 years in prison, right? Is that if you accumulate all of the charges he faces, in accumulation, the highest that he could possibly get from a judge's judgment is like 10 years, right? That doesn't mean that they're trying to give him 10 years in prison or that they're going to put him in behind bars for 10 years in prison. That doesn't mean that either. I don't think the dude's going to see a day in prison. It's hard for me to imagine someone so rich and powerful and the former president actually going behind bars. I don't think the odds of that are very high. I do think there should be at least some legal repercussion for you not only taking these classified documents out of your home, which is not good, but is not the killer. If you give them back, it wouldn't be the first or the last time a president has probably engaged in that behavior. The difference is lying to the National Archives about the documents you have and lying to keep those documents and then acknowledging that, these are classified. I can't show them privately, while publicly saying, no, I am president. I can show whoever I want these documents. While he knows in private and says in private, this is classified. I shouldn't really be showing you this, but he shows them to people anyway, people with no classification requirements. And the reason I have no classification level, and the reason I have so little sympathy is Donald Trump, while in office, he increased the penalty for violations of the Presidential Records Act while in office. This would be like somebody increasing the penalties for drunk driving, and then they got caught a week later with their Honda Civic wrapped around a telephone pole with their good friend Jack, last name Daniels, sitting in the driver's seat. Anyone who sees that would say, oh my God, yes, this person should be held accountable for their own actions. But if there's anyone in the world that should have known not to do that, it's the guy with, who passed the drunk driving legislation. And that's the thing that makes it so crazy around Donald Trump and why I have so little sympathy. And he did it after running on the campaign trail on it as well. Railing Hillary Clinton over the emails, railing her over the emails, and then using it to say that Hillary Clinton should be in jail. Now, Donald Trump does something, in my opinion, that is worse because he's actively lying to investigators, trying to hide it, showing to people without classification requirements, lying about his book. He violates all the same laws that he was accusing Hillary of violating when it comes to the smashing of the phones and the emails, after increasing the penalties for it. There's an irony there that just can't be ignored.
First of all, I don't think he should get massive jail time for this.
He's facing 10 years.
Well, that's the maximum sentence, right? He's not
That's the funny sentence. That's not going to happen.
gonna get the maximum sentence. Okay.
He's going to get, if he, okay.
Right. So, I don't think you should get 10 years. That would be ridiculous. I don't think you should. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you got like house arrest for a year or whatever, that would make sense to me or something.
Right. Okay.
I don't think you should get 10 years or some extraordinary sentence. To me, that would be, if he did get.
You know what they should do? They should be like, okay, Donald Trump, we will let you off on parole if you do not continue to lie about the case. But if you lie about the case one more time, you get automatic 10 years in prison. You'll get him in prison by the end of the week. That's what prosecutors should do. They should make that deal. Trump will be overconfident once again, say like, I can do that easy peasy. He's in prison 10 years at the end of the week. That would be the funny option. That's not what's going to happen. That's just fantasy, but still.
Some like multiple years in jail, I would say that unless he had something super fucking crazy in those documents.
Or he's trying to sell the documents and they have
to,
evidence. Yeah, okay. Throw him from the fucking slammer.
But we're assuming that he wasn't trying to sell them. And I'm assuming that there wasn't something completely insane in the documents, right?
Yeah.
Assuming that, I don't think you should get multiple years in jail. I don't even think you should get 1 year in jail. So I said, I think house arrest or whatever would make sense in my mind, assuming that he's guilty of this stuff. But to me, even if the documents are all, even though they're classified and it's nothing like too crazy, to me, if a person who was the president and is running for president again has an attitude where he's basically willing to say, fuck the law, fuck the system for like this insanely petty reason, that's like super like a red flag. Like what, like this person is like, shouldn't be trusted with any modicum of power.
I love baguettes got a tier 1 subscription. Asterisk I love baguettes asterisk got a tier 1 asterisk subscription.
I think that guy likes baguettes. Thank you. I love baguettes. Appreciate the tier 1.
At that point, right? Like if you're willing to basically risk jail time and just say, I don't give a shit what the law says, just out of pettiness, like that doesn't really make the situation better in my mind. It kind of makes it worse.
It's totally a aesthetic thing. It's totally just an opinion thing.
Well, no, it's not. To me, it's not aesthetic.
Wait, what does that even mean? It's an aesthetic. I don't even know what he means by that. What that is an aesthetic thing? Like if Donald Trump wanted to like, let me show how cool I am, then he just tweeted out the nuclear codes, whether or not he did it to sell to some foreign government or whatever, that shows that he cannot be trusted with that type of classified material. One of the main critiques of Donald Trump going into the 2016 election was, can you really trust this guy with the nuclear codes? And it wasn't just the nuclear codes, it was a whole host of classified information where U.S. spies are around the world, or military installments, or like cybersecurity, a whole million different aspects to it. And by being president, we had to trust him with a lot of that information. And not too surprisingly, he wasn't tremendously trustworthy with that information. And I do think that is something that deserves a response. Because
to me, when we live in a democracy, right, the whole point of our system and the whole point of what you were saying earlier about how our system should be created in a way to check and curb the powers of authoritarians, right?
Yeah.
Like following the rules of law is that thing.
Yeah, but that's what it is. What the rule is. Like I look at it like they're trying to throw him in jail for jaywalking. And it's just, he's getting madder and madder because he's like,
not.
Oh, somebody else brought up a good point in Gutter Chat as well, even though Gutter Chat very rarely brings up the good points, and it's always Site Chat that brings up the good points, like Judaism and I Love Baguettes, of course, and Big Floppa. They brought up Trump wasn't even just sharing, this is from Shively in Gutter Chat. Trump wasn't even just sharing our intel. Some of the documents in his possession were marked Five Eyes. Five Eyes is a collection of countries: the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and I think the last one is France. I forget what the last one is, but it's a collection of countries that share classified information with each other to help each other. And if those documents are marked Five Eyes, that means we're not even potentially sharing American classified information. We're potentially sharing the classified information of our allies, which what does that mean for our allies sharing that classified information with us in the future? Definitely if Trump becomes president again. Like, let's say there's like a terror group that doesn't only threaten the United States, but also threatens a bunch of other countries. And they get information on like terror group that they really, really, really don't want to get out. there's going to be some conversation in the British or French or whatever government it is about, should we really send it over to the Americans, considering, you know, the Jack Textera thing and now, you know, the Trump thing. And if Trump's president, that conversation is only going to be intensified.
And it's just, he's getting madder and madder because he's like, it's fucking jaywalking.
It's not jaywalking. It's, I have top secret classified documents, and they say, give that to us. And he says, yes. And then says, fuck you. I'm lying. I'm not going to give it to you.
It depends upon the documents.
Okay. Well, okay. It doesn't really, in my mind. You don't get the rules, even when you're president, the rules are supposed to apply to everyone.
But you're lying to some fucking paper pusher that's just fucking with you.
Is this as serious? I don't know. No, I don't believe this isn't a serious position, is it? That's a government official. Have you ever thought that like they're nerds, man? Dude, why listen to government officials when you can take them and give them a swirly? What is they're just lying to a paper pusher? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Dude, if I ever get caught for tax fraud or something, that's what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say, what? So I lied to the government, a nerd, a bunch of nerds. The government is just a collection of nerds, and one IRS employee is a single nerd. A single nerd, a collection of nerd, a swarm of her nerds. I don't respect nerds. We'll see if that works. I wonder if that'll keep me out of prison.
He's not. Like, wait.
Is it morally reprehensible to lie to someone at the
bullshit.
DMV?
Wait, that's literally not true. They're not just fucking with him. Number one, he's not supposed to have any documents, period. Number one.
I understand.
What'd you guys send me? 6, DOJ also says a small number of the docs are so sensitive and restricted that it will take 45 to 60 days for Consul to receive the appropriate clearance. That is highly unusual. The DOJ also notes that some of these restricted documents are not even the ones charged in the indictment. This is Brandon Van Grack. An interesting last name. Co-chair of National Security Practice for, who's that? Morrison for, okay, whatever. Where were we? Oh, here we are.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yeah, a lot of classified information. Look, okay, as much as we love to mock the CIA and everything, some things are classified for good reason, okay? And it's not because they're hiding aliens, but because they're trying to hide stuff that's of an actual, and I know national security is a buzzword, but of an actual national security priority.
He's 100% on top of that, not supposed to have any classified documents. So it's not like they're just fucking with him. That's not true. He's not supposed to have classified documents. They're not just fucking with him. You can't say that.
Well, you can't say that they're not.
Yes, I can. He's not, by law, he's not allowed to have classified top secret documents. That's not them fucking with him.
Hold on. What if I told you that, yes, it's the law that you're not supposed to have any documents. You're supposed to turn them all back over to this government agency after the fact.
Yes.
But in reality,
by the way, to be clear, it wasn't that he just didn't turn over the documents. It was that he took the documents, then they were like, we're missing documents. And he was like, nuh-uh. And then he lied to them about it after he got caught, and then tried to go to his lawyers and find some way so he never, ever had to turn them over, as he's showing it to other people, staffers and reporters who didn't have clearance, showing them what is assumedly invasion plans of Iran. If you listen to the audio, that's what it sounds like. I don't know if former presidents of the United States should be showing invasion plans of other countries to random staffers. By the way, that in and of itself should be a scandal. Because a war with Iran is a terrible idea. But putting that aside, he was the guy who killed Soleimani after all. But putting that aside, if we have any type of plan of war or anything, he should not just be willy-nilly showing it to everyone. What if it was a scenario that it was a plan to defend Taiwan, how we were going to defend Taiwan, it was integral for their defense, and that if anything was to happen, this would mean this plan could help Taiwan stay an independent country, and that Trump was like sharing that around to just random staffers. And we know that Russian intelligence and Chinese intelligence are actively trying to get access to the type of information 24/7. If they are given the signal that this big buffoon is basically just spilling out national security secrets out of his back pockets, they're going to find a way to get into his inner circle in some way. And that Eric Swalwell story about that Chinese spy that got really close to Eric Swalwell, it won't be too long or there's a real possibility at the very least of that story happening to the great and righteous Donald J. Trump.
We know culturally no president does that, and that Bill Clinton has a shit ton of these documents, and every form.
Difference is that if the National Archives go to them and say turn over these documents, they listen and they do it, or they inform the National Archives that they have these documents and then they return them. That's the key difference. The line about it, as he shows it to people with zero clearance to see them, after he rose the penalty for doing that exact thing while in office, trying to hold other people to a different standard that he holds himself to, that's the problem. That is the problem.
Former president has a shit ton of these documents that they just, pack rat away because for their own fucking reasons.
Right.
And then they're just going after Trump because they're fucking with him.
If that was the case, I agree with you.
Okay, but that's
the National Archives are not just messing with Trump by saying, hey, these documents, please give them back. You said you gave them back, you did, and then he just tries to hide them. That's not them screwing with them. They're giving him an opportunity to fix what he did wrong. If they really wanted to mess with him, they wouldn't have asked him, and they would have just immediately raided Mar-a-Lago with no question, with no ask of, could you please overturn these documents, and it would have been settled there. It would have been settled then. But that's not what happened, man.
That's not the case. That's literally not the case.
How do you know?
We have no evidence of the case. All the people that they talked about with Biden and all the people that had in George W. or George H.W. Bush.
Biden doesn't count, yeah.
All the people that had other documents, that had documents, when the government said, give us the documents, they gave them the documents.
Okay.
The thing that makes this, and this is why I keep saying the thing that makes it egregious, and the reason why he's being charged in the first place, is because they said, give us the documents, and he intentionally, according to their claim, they're claiming he intentionally lied to them and hid documents and then lied about returning them. That's the egregious part of this. If Trump had the documents at Mar-a-Lago, okay, and they never asked for them and they just raided the place and charged him, I would agree with you 100%. Say, this is ridiculous, right? They should have asked him to comply, given him a chance to comply.
I get the lies. I totally understand.
But that's the issue.
I get all of that.
But that's what, to me, that's what elevates this to be so egregious. You can't just fucking, you can't just say, oh, fuck you. I get to do what I want. Fuck the rules. Fuck the law.
Well, it depends upon what the law is. That's why I said use the jaywalking example, because it's like.
But this isn't jaywalking.
This isn't jaywalking. Okay. To be clear, if I had invasion plans of Iran and I started sharing it around, I'd probably get the Julian Assange treatment. Just saying. Just putting that out there.
Fuck you.
Well, it depends upon what the documents are, if it's jaywalking or not. You got to look. If it is the plan to buy Greenland, and nobody's worried about anyone capturing our plan to buy fucking Greenland, and it's just a pet project of Trump's, and he's just like, I'm keeping this. This was my idea.
Well, first of all, considering how idiotic Trump has been regarding this whole situation, I don't think any of us would trust his judgment about to determine what classified documents say things that are important or dangerous or not.
Okay. Of course. Look, This is the thing, because it's such a comedy of just what is this even? So the document that he's waving around is a plan to invade Iran?
Which that's a big fucking deal.
That's a big fucking deal. Yeah, that's not jaywalking.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Exactly.
Yes. That's why I'm saying I got to see the plans.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, so what? Okay. What? Okay. I don't even know what that means. Okay. So are there going to be plans to invade Iran that are shareable, that you can share with people? Like it just says, if Iran attack us, we fight. It's just I don't know. It's a big map of Iran with crayons on it, scrawled over major targets. Remember when Trump threatened to do that war crime while in office? He said he had a list of Iranian cultural sites that he could bomb if Iran decided to escalate after the Soleimani killing, which, by the way, targeting cultural sites for cultural sites' sake, that is a war crime. And he just broadcasted to the world, we want to commit a war crime. Maybe that's the list. Maybe it's the list of cultural sites, but who knows? Anyway, though, it's hard for me to imagine there's any invasion plan of any country that would be clear to show the public. They're invasion plans. Once they're public, they're kind of worthless.
But you're not going to, so it doesn't matter. But then number two, there was something we didn't talk about, which was that it's kind of hilarious that the government has this. Literally, the guy that's being accused of helping Trump move the boxes and then lie about them, he went into the storage room where all these documents were supposed to be, and he literally found a box in the storage room where other things were stored, by the way, like normal things relating to the hotel service were stored in there. So people walk in and out of there all the time, all day. They found a box knocked over with a bunch of documents, including top secret documents labeled top secret, just laying on the floor for any employee to fucking walk in and see. And the guy literally took a picture of it on the floor and sent it to Trump or something.
To be fair, though, consider this: the Trump organization has some very good janitors with strong integrity. They would never.
Like I said, someone just knocked over your box of top secret documents in the storage room.
This is so. You look, the bus boy at Mar-a-Lago is definitely selling those documents to whoever, to the highest.
Wait, is he actually? Okay, I said that as a meme. That was a meme. Absolute. Wait, you don't think it's possible that if the Chinese or the Russians, who are constantly sending spies over to the United States to try to pick up information, if they found out that Trump is kind of just laissez-faire, just saying stuff, no filter. He's got no filter. That they wouldn't try to get somebody hired at Trump International to try to get that information? If they found out that all they had to do is get through a broom closet to get classified information, they wouldn't try to get somebody hired at the organization? No, that still is a real national security risk.
But see, that's another thing. That's another reason why this is so hyper egregious. If he's got these fucking boxes that have potentially top secret documents in them, or I guess they did have top secret documents in them, not potentially, and then people just fucking knocking them over, they're in a literally fucking storage room that multiple people have access to. Even if Trump isn't going to sell them, who knows what fucking random employee is going to sell them or do some crazy shit with them.
How many top secret plans did Kanye make off with?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
He used that bathroom.
How many top secret documents about Israel did Kanye take? Okay.
Damn it.
He wanted all the top secrets on Netanyahu. So.
This is, you got to admit, this is fucking fascinating.
It is, but it's just so ridiculous. It's so preposterous, the whole situation.
It is.
So.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adam show. If you like what you heard,
I can't tell how serious Adam is. I can't tell how serious Adam is being, actually. I don't know how serious Adam is being. I don't know how serious he's taking the situation. It's really hard. It's really hard to tell. Either way, okay, this was false advertising in this YouTube thumbnail. The fucking false advertising in the title, man. False advertising. Sitch did okay.